Welcome back to In the Know. We're talking all about tea tonight. And before the break, we talked a little bit about the types of teas that you've brought here tonight, Raelene. And on this tray here, like we were saying, it starts from white all the way to a rooibos tea.
Excuse me, yes. This is actually a rooibos, this second last one, and then the farthest one is actually a tisane. So those two on the end have no caffeine.
Okay.
But they're not technically a tea, but they do get clouded and pulled into this category because they are a hot or cold beverage. So
here, all these more chunkier.
Right. Tisanes usually are barks, roots, herbs, that kind of thing, like orange slices, cinnamon sticks, that kind of thing. And then the rooibos is a honeybush or rooibos from South Africa. And then, whoops, the chai is a traditional, that's a chai, which is traditional Indian.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, traditional Indian. It's got there's as many chai recipes as there are chocolate chip cookie recipes.
Yeah,
you know,
you hear that all the time. That ingredient,
everyone's
chai
got
tea.
a different one. You know. Yeah.
And if television had smell-o-vision, the viewers at home would be able to smell how fragrant these teas actually are.
A lot
like
of them
all
have spices.
Yeah.
This one's actually interesting because this one has, these are when we talk about silver tips in tea. That's what this is here. It's a fuzzy kind of, I know you won't pick it up on camera, but it's really actually tiny, a fuzzy kind of finish to it. And that's the golden tips of the tea. That's the premium type of bud of the tea.
Now, is it good when the teas have a lot of texture to it, variety, you know, in terms of the little leaves and little buds and whatnot?
You know, it's a personal preference.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's kind of like saying, you know, it's a craft, so everyone has their special way to do it. The most varied category, like basically it's white tea, green tea, and then there's a whole big category called oolong tea. And oolong tea, well, then we'll go to black tea. And basically, oolong has a huge category difference because you can actually oxidize it or ferment it from the 10 or 20%, so it's closer to green, or go up to 90 and 80%, which makes it almost a black tea. So the Wooey Rock here is closer to a black tea, and this one here is a Tai Kuan Yin, which is much closer to a green tea.
And they're all oolong.
But that category are all oolong.
So oolong is a category, a tea category.
Of tea, exactly.
It's not an actual tea.
Right. It's a category.
Okay.
Just like white, oolong, you know, green, oolong, black, oolong. So it's an actual category of tea, but they're all made from the same plant again, like I said.
And that plant is called?
The Camellia sinensis.
The Camellia sinensis,
right.
Okay.
It's a tree bush.
So let's kind of go back to some of the history behind teas, because we've been talking a lot about, you know, teas from China, I guess. So what's the history behind those teas, Raelene?
Well, basically, tea started there, and, you know, kind of the story is that a tea leaf fell into the water of an emperor, and he kind of went, oh, this is great, this is fantastic. And that's basically how they say the story of Nansheng, how the tea was born. And so, you know, then it kind of went to India after that. There's lots of stories and history about it, but when they went to India, the Chinese plant didn't grow quite as well, and they actually have a varietal there they call Camellia sinensis assamica. So it is a little bit different, hardier plant, a little bit thicker leaf, so it is a little bit different, but it's still the same basic thing. It's just a varietal that they grow in India in the north there.
And I know you've brought some books here, and are these some of your favorite?
These are just some really, this is a story of tea. This is by Mary Lou Heiss and Robert Heiss, and they actually really do a good job of their tea books. This was kind of when it came out a couple of years ago. It was kind of our groundbreaking book for even our classes and that kind of thing. It's got great maps, as you can see.
You've dog-eared and tabbed all the pages.
Yeah, I use and reference this a lot. And then I wanted to plug a Canadian book. This one was just done in English when it was originally done in French by a store in Quebec, Montreal. These guys are really great, and they've done another good book, and they've taken it a little bit further with some studies on caffeine and that kind of thing, because caffeine can come up as a subject quite a bit. So they've done some stuff. So, you know, and then next time I'll be able to show you my book.
Yes, because I know you're working on one right now. So let's talk a little bit about the process that tea goes into. I mean, you know, everybody's talking about organic and having everything natural. Is that what you should be looking for when you're buying tea? That it's organic or it's not processed?
It's a category, you know. I mean, it's more expensive, you know, because there has to be certain certifications and that kind of thing. It is a little bit of a marketing angle to it. There's also fair trade, which is, you know, actually they actually give the, it's the same analogy. It's the same kind of thing. I would say if you're looking for organic, you know, we've got lots of organic teas. You can do that for sure. Like I say, they're a little bit more expensive. I personally don't think it's all that necessary because, you know, these farmers are growing up in the Wooey Mountains, 3,000, 7,000 elevation. There's not much, they don't even really know what pesticides are. It's not like something that they use every day. They're not used to going to their local Canadian Tire and getting pesticides to use on these great big tree farms. They just don't, they just grow it naturally. Yeah, so I don't get too crazy about it. I just drink tea what I like.